Valve Corporation, formerly known as Valve Software, was founded in 1996 by Mike Harrington and Gabe Newell. In 1998, the company released their first game, Half-Life, which ran on a heavily modified Quake engine called Gold Source. Half-Life became an instant success and is today widely considered to be one of the greatest games of all time. Aside from the success of the Half-Life series, almost every game Valve has developed and released since has become a critically acclaimed video game franchise. Up until Half-Life Episode 1, this image of a man with a valve in his left eye can be seen when you start up any Valve-made game, and it's actually a photo of a former Valve employee. However, since then it's been replaced with this image instead. Both photos were taken sometime between 1995 and 96 when Valve was first founded, but the second guy remains unknown. An employee at Valve has said that they simply picked a random guy from the street and brought him into the studio to take the photo. Thus, no one really knows who this man is. And while on this topic, the music you hear while this image is displayed is actually an original soundtrack from Half-Life. Before he co-founded Valve, Gabe Newell actually worked for Microsoft for 13 years and helped to produce the first 3 versions of Windows: Windows 1, Windows 2 and Windows 3. Just kidding, Newell would never release a third anything. He actually worked on Windows 1, 2 and 2.1. I wonder if this is where his hate for the number 3 was born. In other words, the reason Episode 3 or Half-Life 3 haven't been released yet is Microsoft's fault. Electronic Arts, or EA, is these days known for being the worst game company out there. It's due in part because of their tendency to buy big video game studios just to release a shitty sequel or in some other way destroy a popular franchise. Some examples are Maxis, DICE, Westwood, BioWare and Pandemic. And a horrifying thought is that Valve could have been on that list as well. In late 2012, EA offered to buy Valve for $1 billion. It would have been the largest acquisition by EA so far, but luckily for us this never happened because Newell said Valve would rather disintegrate than to ever sell out. The promotional Meet the Team videos for Team Fortress 2 are actually more than just fan service or game promotion. Newell has said that the videos serve as experiments in the movie making because the studio would prefer to do a Half-Life movie themselves. However, last year Valve announced that they had talked to J.J. Abrams about possibly making a Half-Life or Portal movie. What ends up happening remains to be seen, but it looks like we will somewhere down the line get a movie based on a Valve game. Unlike traditional jobs where the employee is given a desk and a set of instructions from a manager, those working at Valve don't have a manager. As outlined in the handbook given to every new employee, hierarchy is great for maintaining predictability, repeatability, and managing a large number of people. But for one of the top entertainment companies on the planet, telling an employee to sit behind a desk and do one specific task kills most of their creativity. As such, workers get to select which projects they want to work on, have the power to greenlight new projects and even release new products. A year before Half-Life 2 was released in 2004, Valve was actually hacked. The hacker managed to download the entire source code for Half-Life 2, and not long after, the unfinished game was found on BitTorrent sites all over the internet. Soon after Valve had noticed the leak, they managed to track down and get in contact with a German hacker. After doing so, Newell tricked him into thinking Valve wanted to hire him, but in reality he would have been arrested by the FBI upon arrival. Before any of this happened though, the FBI alerted the police in Germany and the hacker was arrested in his home in 2004. The online gaming service Steam was launched in 2002 and would later replace their previous service, World Opponent Network. As of 2014, Steam has over 3,000 games, 75 million active users, and around 75% of all PC games bought online are downloaded through Steam. However, over 35% of all registered Steam games have never been played. So if you've ever looked at your library filled with hundreds of games and you still hear yourself thinking, I have nothing to play, you're not alone. Valve actually have a working Team Fortress 2 sentry gun and a portal turret. And by working I don't mean that they straight up fucking murder people, but rather working as a life-sized prop. It moves and can track your motion, it has a built-in camera and even plays sound effects from the games. It's been known for a few years now and even confirmed by Valve themselves that Source Engine 2 is in the works. A few images of levels remade in the engine has also been leaked, and most recently it seems that the latest update for Dota 2 is actually using some form of light version of the engine, but so far there's no official word from Valve. Another interesting piece of evidence came from a tour at Valve HQ. A few fortunate gamers were given a tour around the office, and while taking pictures, this photo was taken. It's a little blurry, but if you look closely, you'll find two very interesting things. First, Source 2 is mentioned, but also Left 4 Dead 3. And if you take L4D3 and remove the letters, what do you get? Numbers. And what can you do with numbers? Math. And what is math good for? Subtraction. 4 minus 3 is 1. Remove the letters from Source 2 and you get 2. What is the opposite of subtraction? Addition. 1 plus 2 is 3. Half-Life 3 confirmed. Geiben.